My daughter banned me from her wedding, but brazenly sent me a bill for $80,000 to pay for her lavish party and honeymoon in Cancun. She even added, "Thank me for letting you contribute." I just smiled, feeling my anger turn into cold determination. Her dream of a rich and perfect wedding would become a nightmare. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you are listening in the comments. I sat at my kitchen table in the quiet of my Atlanta home, the October afternoon light filtering through the faded curtains. The envelope had arrived that morning, thick and cream-colored with Jennifer's precise handwriting on the front. I had assumed it was the wedding invitation. Finally, after months of radio silence, my fingers traced the seal, a small thrill of hope stirring despite everything. I tore it open carefully, expecting elegant cardstock announcing the date, the venue. Perhaps a note asking me to help her get ready like we dreamed about years ago. No invitation. Instead, a stack of papers slid out. Itemized bills, crisp and professional, totaling $80,000. My eyes scanned the lines. $50,000 for the mansion rental near Atlanta, a sprawling estate with manicured gardens and crystal chandeliers. $20,000 for catering, including imported wines and lobster flown in from Maine. Another $10,000 for the honeymoon suite in Cancun, complete with private beach access. And tucked at the bottom, a handwritten note from Jennifer. "Mom, after the problems you've caused the family, be grateful that I allowed you to contribute. This covers your share. Send the check soon. Michael and I are counting on it." I stared at the words, the paper cool and smooth under my fingertips. Problems. The problems she'd thrown in my face during our last argument, blaming me for not climbing higher in my nursing career, for the modest life we'd led after your father's death. My hand trembled slightly as I set the note down, the itemized costs blurring for a moment. Nearby on the table sat a framed photo of young Jennifer, gap-toothed and grinning from a dance recital, her tiny hand in mine. How had that girl turned into this woman, demanding money like I was an ATM, banning me from her wedding because I didn't fit her polished image? Shock hit first, a cold wave that made my chest tighten. I crumpled the note in my fist, the paper crackling like dry leaves, but then I smoothed it out again, laying it flat. No, I wouldn't let anger consume me blindly. I pushed back from the table, standing up slowly, my knees protesting the movement. The kitchen felt smaller, the walls closing in with memories of family dinners long gone. I walked to the sink, splashing water on my face, but it didn't wash away the sting. Jennifer thought she could erase me from her life while dipping into my savings, the nest egg I'd built through years of overtime, scrimping after losing Robert to a heart attack in 2015. She'd called me once after his funeral, voice clipped. "You should have done more, Mom, for all of us." I returned to the table, picking up an old cameo brooch, a family heirloom from my grandmother, its edges worn from generations of strong women. It rested cool in my palm, a reminder of bonds that should endure. But Jennifer had severed ours, hadn't she? Banning me because Michael whispered that a simple retired nurse would embarrass their tech executive crowd. I smiled then, a slow, bitter curve of my lips as the hurt twisted into something sharper. Resolve. I set the bill aside, folding it neatly, and felt a spark ignite deep inside, a plan beginning to form in the shadows of my mind. I glanced at the bill again, its numbers mocking me. The anger slowly ebbed, giving way to cold clarity. If Jennifer thought she could manipulate me, she was mistaken. I knew a direct confrontation would get me nowhere. She'd dismiss me as always, but I could gather information, find cracks in their perfect plan. My old laptop sat on the kitchen counter, dusty but ready. Time to find out what they were really up to. That spark lingered as I glanced at the photo again, picking it up this time. Jennifer's young face stared back, innocent and full of promise from a day at Piedmont Park when she was 8. She'd climbed onto my lap during a sudden thunderstorm, burying her head in my shoulder while rain pelted the car windows. "Don't worry, Mama," she'd said, her voice muffled. "You're the strongest." I'd held her close, promising to always protect her, just as Robert watched us with that warm smile of his. I paced the kitchen now, the floorboards creaking under my steps, the scent of stale coffee from my morning mug hanging in the air. Those memories flooded in unbidden, weekends braiding her hair before church, her laughter echoing as she twirled in her Sunday dress. We'd been unbreakable then, a trio against the world. But after Robert's death, everything shifted. Jennifer was 25, already climbing the corporate ladder in tech, and she started pulling away. "You let him down, Mom," she'd accused one night over the phone in 2016, her voice laced with resentment. "If you'd made more money, maybe the treatments could have been better." I'd swallowed the pain, reminding her of the insurance battles, the second mortgage I'd taken to cover his care. But she didn't listen. She saw only my failures, the modest house, the reliable but unglamorous job. Last Christmas had sealed it. I'd driven to their sleek apartment in Midtown Atlanta, arms full of homemade collard greens and sweet potato pie like I used to make for Sunday dinners. Michael had barely glanced up from his phone, whispering something to Jennifer that made her smirk. "Mom, we're doing keto now," she'd said dismissively. "And honestly, you showing up unannounced, it's awkward." I'd left early, the drive home a blur of streetlights, feeling like a relic in their shiny world. Now this bill, it was the final insult, demanding I fund their extravagance while they shoved me aside. My fists clenched at my sides as I stopped by the window, watching leaves skitter across the yard. The anger built, a steady burn replacing the nostalgia. How dare she treat me like a burden, then expect gratitude for allowing me to pay? I wasn't the victim here. Not anymore. I'd raised her alone after Robert, sacrificed vacations and comforts to give her a start, and Michael, with his designer watches and social media boasts, enabling her greed. No, this betrayal demanded consequences. I vowed then, silently but fiercely, to turn their perfect day into a lesson they'd never forget. Rain began to patter against the glass, mirroring the storm inside me, and I turned away, my resolve hardening like steel. A momentary doubt flickered. Was I too old for this fight? But I pushed it aside. Justice wasn't about age. It was about dignity. With that thought, I reached for my laptop on the counter, the cool metal grounding me as I prepared to dig deeper. The laptop hummed to life in the dimming light of the room, its screen casting a blue glow across the cluttered table. I settled into the chair, the rain now a steady drum outside, and opened the browser with purposeful clicks. Jennifer's social media profiles were private, but Michael's wasn't. He loved flaunting their life. I scrolled through his posts, each one a stab. "Can't wait for our dream wedding at the Whitmore estate. #blessed. #luxury living." The date jumped out. November 15th, 2024, just weeks away. Photos showed the mansion, its grand ballroom decked in mock setups, chandeliers sparkling like diamonds. "Miss Dorothy, you look good. Sorry about Mr. Robert. He was like a father to me too. Thanks, Nicole. And call me Dorothy." I slid her a coffee. Jennifer banned me from her wedding, but sent a bill for 80 grand. "I'm not paying. I'm fighting back." Her face hardened. "That sounds like her. Ditched me years ago when I wouldn't fake a reference for her job. Said I was holding her back with my small-time gigs." I nodded, probing gently. "Heard stories like that. Exploited others for her climb." "Oh yeah," Nicole said, leaning in, her tone laced with old hurt. "In college, she borrowed my project ideas, claimed them as hers. When I called her out, she ghosted me. Michael's the same. All about the image. We planned over refills. She'd document the wedding from outside. Capture any fallout with photos and video, ready for public leverage if needed." A mutual acquaintance waved from the counter. Old Mr. Patterson from the neighborhood, stirring a laugh. "Remember when you and Jennifer pranked him with fake snow in July?" Nicole grinned, but it faded. "Those days are gone. She changed." "Mine too," I replied. "But this alliance, it's real." We parted with a hug, ideas swirling in my head like the steam from our cups. "What if we need more recordings, logs?" I asked, the question hanging as she nodded thoughtfully. Come by my place tonight, I suggested. Bring what you've got and let's start prepping for real. Nicole grinned, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Deal. Dorothy. I'll be there at 8. That question echoed as I drove home, rain starting to patter again on the roof. By evening, I had texted Nicole to come over, unable to wait. She arrived at my door, toolkit in hand, the downpour turning the porch light into a hazy glow. Ready to level up, she said, stepping inside, shaking off her coat. We moved to the living room where I cleared space on the coffee table. Dim lamps cast long shadows across the faded rugs, and I handed her a mug of hot coffee, its steam curling like a promise. Show me how to protect myself. Recordings, cameras, the works. Nicole unpacked gadgets, a small recorder, hidden cams, even apps for call logs. First, legal basics, she explained, her voice steady and instructional. In Georgia, one-party consent for recordings. Hit this button mid-call. I practiced on a mock setup, her demo exposing tactics Jennifer might use. Gaslighting, deflection. Like when she blamed you for her dad's heart attack not being caught sooner, Nicole said softly. I remember you working double shifts to pay those bills. She ignored that. The words hit hard, pulling a memory. Robert in the hospital, his hand weak in mine. Jennifer storming out after accusing me of not fighting harder. I shared it briefly, voice catching. He deserved better from all of us. You gave everything, Nicole replied, her tone gentle yet firm. I owe you. After my folks split, you let me crash here, did my hair for prom when my mama couldn't. Jennifer laughed it off, called me soft. We toasted quietly with our mugs to justice, not revenge. She walked me through camera placement. Angle it here for the door. Catches faces clear. I tested one, the feed crisp on my phone, a surge of strength rising as the image stabilized. But as the device hummed, a new thought intruded. What if Jennifer called tonight, sensing the shift? Jennifer didn't call that night, but I knew the silence wouldn't last. The next day passed in intense anticipation. I checked my phone, tested the cameras, took a walk around the block to calm my nerves. Every car passing by made me flinch, thinking it was her. By evening, I was on edge when the phone finally buzzed, her name flashing on the screen. The device hummed softly in my palm, its green light steady, when my phone buzzed on the table, slicing through the evening quiet like a knife. I was midway through brewing tea, the kettle just starting to whistle, steam curling up in lazy wisps. The screen lit up. Jennifer. I let it ring, watching the vibrations skitter the phone across the wood. A chill draft from the window echoing the tension knotting my gut. It went to voicemail, then buzzed again. Michael this time. I ignored that too, pouring hot water over the teabag, the aroma of chamomile grounding me as I recalled Nicole's advice. Record everything. Their words will be your ammunition. A few days had passed since our session, filled with quiet preparations, installing apps, testing angles in the house, even a walk around the neighborhood to clear my head. But now the storm was breaking. The notifications piled up, 3 voicemails, texts flashing urgent. I sat at the kitchen table, the dim overhead light casting shadows on the walls, and played the first one, finger hovering before pressing. Mom, it's Jennifer. There's a misunderstanding with the payments. The planner called, said you pulled out. Call me right away. We need to sort this. Her voice started composed, but an edge crept in like gravel underfoot. I replayed it, noting the panic bubbling beneath. Misunderstanding, as if her bill and ban were accidents. The second. Dorothy, Michael here. Jennifer's upset. The vendors are threatening to cancel without your contribution. Don't do this. It's petty. His tone clipped, superior, like scolding a child. Petty. The word stung, but I smiled faintly, sipping my tea. Nicole had warned of this. Desperation masked as accusation. The third voicemail came from Jennifer again, urgency ramping. Mom, seriously, pick up. Everything's falling apart. You owe us this after everything. The pause hinted at old grudges, her breath heavy. I listened twice more, analyzing the rising pitch. They implied threats. Rumors must be spreading. Sandra had done her part. Then a call from an old mutual friend, Mr. Patterson from down the street. His voice hesitant when I answered briefly. Dorothy, heard whispers at the church. Jennifer's wedding troubles. People saying money issues. Hope you're okay. His words sparked a twist. Public whispers already. I hadn't expected the ripple to reach so far so fast. It fueled me. A surge of control after years of being sidelined. But as I set the phone down, another voicemail pinged in. Jennifer's voice cracking this time. If you don't fix this, you'll regret it. The threat hung there, replaying in my mind as I stared at the screen. That threat echoed as the phone rang again the next evening, insistent like a heartbeat in the living room where I paced, the recorder app open and ready. I gripped the device tightly, letting it ring 4 times before answering. A deliberate pause to unsettle her. Hello, Jennifer. Mom, finally. What the hell is going on? Sandra says you refuse to pay. You're sabotaging our wedding. Her accusation burst out, voice pitching high with frustration. I breathed steadily, the carpet soft under my feet. Sabotaging. You banned me. Sent a bill like I was a sponsor, not family. Remember your note? Be grateful. A beat of silence. Then she exploded. That was... Look, it's not like that. Michael's colleagues, the crowd, you're retired, Mom. It wouldn't fit. But the money, you owe it. After Daddy, after the struggles you caused. The jab at Robert twisted like a thorn, but I stayed calm, recording every word. I sipped from a glass of the cheap red wine I'd been saving, its bitter tang sharpening my focus. Action spoke louder now. No more wallowing. I jotted notes on a pad. Venue, Whitmore Estate, 50K rental. Caterer, elite events, boasting farm-to-table for 200 guests. Photographer, some high-end pro named Layla Ross. Her portfolio linked in Michael's comments. Gorgeous shots incoming, Michael had captioned with heart emojis. Internal debates raged in my mind. Should I confront her directly? No, that would give her the satisfaction of dismissal. Better to undermine from the shadows, make her feel the loss of control she so feared. Tab after tab opened. Wedding planner Sandra Coleman's site, her bio touting seamless events for discerning clients. A mutual contact on LinkedIn confirmed she was handling it. An old colleague of Jennifer had liked a post about the booking. Honeymoon details trickled in from a travel agency's promo. Cancun resort, oceanfront villa, all funded by that bill they'd sent me. My anger flared anew at a video Michael shared, Jennifer trying on a gown, Michael grinning beside her. Mama's paying for the party. Indirectly, she joked in the comments, a winking emoji following. Indirectly. The audacity fueled me. I cross-referenced vendors, building a list, florist, DJ, even the limo service. The extravagance was staggering, far beyond what Jennifer's salary could cover without my contribution. A hesitation crept in. Was this revenge too far? Risking what little family tie remained. But then I recalled her note again, that condescending privilege, and the doubt vanished. This was about self-worth, teaching her that greed had repercussions. My hands steadied on the keyboard as I found Sandra Coleman's contact number, the planner at the heart of it all. With a deep breath, I decided time to make the call, to start unraveling their perfect tapestry, thread by thread. I picked up my phone, fingers hovering over the dial pad. The phone rang twice before a polished voice answered, smooth as polished marble. Coleman Events. This is Sandra speaking. How can I make your day extraordinary? I leaned against the kitchen counter, the receiver cool against my ear, steadying my breath. Hello, Sandra. This is Dorothy Mitchell. I'm Jennifer Hayes's mother, the one footing the bill for her wedding. A pause, then warmth flooded her tone. Mrs. Mitchell, Jennifer mentioned you'd be calling to finalize payments. We're thrilled you're contributing to such a special event. The Whitmore estate is booked solid, and Michael's vision is coming together beautifully. I let her ramble for a moment about floral arches and string quartets, my mind sharpening like a blade. Actually, Sandra, I'd prefer to discuss this in person. Can we meet tomorrow? I have some details to clarify. She agreed quickly, suggesting her Midtown Atlanta office at 10 a.m. I hung up, the click echoing in the quiet room, and poured myself another glass of wine, swirling it as I envisioned her face when the truth hit. No more hiding behind notes and bills. I leaned back in the chair, adrenaline pulsing through me. The meeting with Sandra was the first step, and I needed to be ready. I spent the rest of the evening reviewing the bill again, jotting down key figures to keep facts at hand. Before bed, I picked out a clean blouse and slacks. Nothing fancy, but enough to look serious. As I lay down, I felt the plan solidify like a house's foundation. The next morning, I woke early, coffee in a thermos, keys in hand, ready to head out. The next morning, I drove through light traffic, the autumn leaves swirling like confetti on the windshield. A brief hesitation gripped me at a red light. Was this the point of no return? But I dismissed it, accelerating as the light turned green. Sandra's office was in a sleek building off Peachtree Street, all glass and chrome, a far cry from the hospital's old brick setup where I'd worked for decades. I parked and walked in, the lobby's sterile air carrying hints of expensive perfume. Sandra greeted me with a firm handshake, her suit tailored and pearls perfectly placed. Mrs. Mitchell, come in. Tea. Coffee. She led me to a plush chair opposite her desk, piled with swatches and contracts. A framed photo of a beaming couple under a gazebo caught my eye, stirring a quiet resolve. That joy wouldn't be Jennifer's. Not on my dime. We settled, and she pulled out the file. So, the $80,000 covers everything, venue, catering, even the honeymoon deposit. Jennifer assured me it's all set. I leaned forward, my voice even. Did she? Tell me, Sandra. Did Jennifer mention that she banned me from the wedding? That I'm not even invited to this extravaganza I'm supposedly funding? Her eyes widened, the pen slipping from her fingers. Banned? No, she said family contributions were handled. This is awkward. Awkward. I echoed, short and sharp. Try insulting. She sent me the bill with a note saying I should be grateful. After raising her alone, after everything. Sandra shifted, rubbing her temple. I don't know what to say. The contracts are signed, but without full payment, we can't proceed. Deposits are non-refundable, but the balance. Exactly, I cut in. Inform Jennifer the wedding halts until she talks to me directly. No funds from me, and if she pushes, remind her how fragile plans can be. She nodded slowly, stunned. I'll call her today. This changes things. As I stood to leave, I overheard her mutter under her breath. That entitled girl. It fueled me, a first taste of the chaos brewing. I stepped out into the crisp air, the door clicking shut behind me, and felt the ripple spread like a stone skipped across still water. Standing on the sidewalk, I felt a surge of strength, but knew I couldn't go far alone. Sandra was just the start. Jennifer wouldn't back down easily, and I needed eyes and ears I could trust. Nicole's name surfaced in my mind, her number still saved in my phone despite years of silence. She knew Jennifer better than most, and her new work as a private investigator could be useful. Sliding into the car, I took a deep breath, feeling the plan take shape, and started scrolling through contacts. In the car, I checked my phone, no missed calls yet, but the silence wouldn't last. As I merged onto the highway back toward home, my thoughts drifted to allies. Scrolling through contacts, I paused on Nicole's name, untouched for years. Jennifer's childhood best friend, the one she ditched when ambition took over. A quick memory flashed. Nicole at 12, showing up at our door after her parents' divorce. Robert making her hot chocolate while Jennifer and I did her hair to distract her. I dialed before doubt could settle. Nicole, it's Dorothy Mitchell. Been a long time. Her voice came through surprised but warm. Miss Dorothy. Wow. Yeah. How have you been? Everything okay? Not exactly, I admitted. Jennifer's getting married, but it's complicated. Can we meet? I need your expertise. Heard you're a private investigator now with photography skills. She chuckled dryly. Word gets around. Sure. The old cafe on Auburn Avenue in an hour. I agreed, hanging up as I turned into my driveway. The house felt less empty with purpose filling it. An hour later, I sat at a corner table in the cafe, the aroma of fresh-baked peach cobbler mingling with falling leaves visible through the window. Nicole arrived, taller than I remembered, with an investigator's keen eyes and a camera bag slung over her shoulder. We embraced warmly, her grip steady. Oh, I raised you alone. Sold what I had for his care. You blame me, then ignore me now. No. Jennifer. No payment. You're ruining everything. She shouted, the words raw. Michael's furious. The caterers want deposits. The estate's holding the date but threatening fees. Fix it. I paused, drawing strength from the cameo brooch on the side table, its presence a reminder of enduring dignity. Fix what you broke. Talk to me like a daughter, not a banker. Then Michael's voice cut in. Speakerphone, I realized. Dorothy, this is ridiculous. We're building a life. Your pettiness could cancel it all. Think of the embarrassment. His interruption spiked the tension, his tone laced with disdain. Embarrassment? Like banning your mother-in-law? Think of the bill you sent. The honeymoon you expect me to fund while excluding me. Jennifer jumped back in, defensive. It's duty, Mom. Family contributes. Admit it. You're jealous of my success. The admission slipped out. Jealousy as her excuse. And it hit like a revelation, exposing her ego. I countered firmly. Success built on using people. Not anymore. The line crackled with her heavy breathing. You'll regret this. We're done. She hung up abruptly, the silence ringing in my ears, her words echoing as a key slip, a vulnerability laid bare that sharpened my resolve. That vulnerability lingered in my thoughts as I paced the hallway, the house quiet except for the faint hum of the fridge. Moments later, a text alert chimed. Nicole. Update. Vendors demanding payment. Rumors flying at the estate. Photos incoming. I opened the attachment. Blurry shots of workers pausing setups. A florist van idling uncertainly. The images fueled me. But then Jennifer's texts flooded in. Selfish old woman. Destroying our day over ego. Short, stabbing accusations glowing on the screen. I scrolled, heart steady, when the neighbor's call came. Mrs. Crawford from across the fence. Dorothy. Saw Jennifer yelling at a delivery man yesterday. Rude as anything, demanding discounts like she owned the place. Her voice warm, supportive. Heard about the wedding mess. If you need backup, I'm here. Remember how she snubbed us at the block party? Acted too good. I leaned against the wall, phone to ear. Thanks, Crawford. What exactly happened with the delivery? She chuckled dryly. Girl dropped off invitations or something. Jennifer berated her for a crease, said, Do you know who I am? Michael just watched. Folks are talking, vendors pulling out. The anecdote painted Jennifer's arrogance vivid, a snub echoing her treatment of me. Appreciate the intel. Keeps me going. No problem, Mrs. Crawford replied warmly. You've got community here. She doesn't. We hung up and I texted Nicole back. More from neighbor. Jennifer's alienating everyone. Her reply. Perfect. Escalation incoming. Preps faltering. But as I set the phone down, a new text from an unknown number popped up, perhaps a vendor hinting at deeper trouble. Mrs. Mitchell re-wedding cancellation fees. The words trailed, spiking a fresh wave of urgency as the ticking clock on the mantel seemed to count down to something inevitable. The grey light of dawn seeped through the curtains on November 15th, 2024, the wedding day, as rain began to patter against the window panes like impatient fingers. I'd woken early, the ticking clock from the night before still echoing in my ears, a reminder of the urgency building over the past week. Those days had slipped by in a rhythm of quiet vigilance, monitoring updates from Nicole, ignoring the escalating texts from Jennifer, even taking long walks in the crisp Atlanta air to steel my nerves against any wavering doubt. Now, as I checked the weather app on my phone, forecasts of steady downpours mirrored the storm I'd orchestrated, a symbolic deluge washing away pretenses. I brewed coffee, the rich scent filling the kitchen, and settled at the table with my device ready. Nicole's first text came at 7 a.m., at the estate. Vendors arriving or not. Photos soon. I sipped slowly, the mug warm in my hands as images trickled in. Florists unloading vans only to repack half the arrangements, their faces pinched in frustration under umbrellas. Deposit issues, one caption read. They're leaving. The chaos unfolded in real-time snippets. A caterer truck idling. Workers boxing up crates of untouched china and silverware. Rain slicking the driveway into a glossy mess. Guests started arriving around noon, Nicole's covert shots showing confused clusters under tents. Umbrellas blooming like dark flowers. Overheard, "Where's the setup?" her message pinged. I ignored a flurry of calls from Jennifer, the phone vibrating like a trapped bee on the table. Voicemails piled up. I played one, her voice frantic. "Mom, send the money now. Everything's falling apart." The estate managers threatening to shut it down. The desperation cracked through, a far cry from her earlier arrogance. More photos. The grand hall half-dressed. Chairs scattered haphazardly. No sign of the string quartet. Then a shot that twisted something inside me. Michael in his tuxedo, expression crumpled, rain streaking the mansion windows behind him like tears. Doubt flickered briefly. Was this too cruel, turning their day into a spectacle? But I recalled the bill's condescension, the ban that cut deeper than any rain, and the doubt dissolved into quiet satisfaction. Justice wasn't gentle. By afternoon, Nicole reported, guests milling, some leaving. Rumors spreading. Family feud over funds. I paced the room, rain drumming steadily outside, envisioning the humiliation unfolding miles away. Another voicemail from Jennifer, pleading. "Please, Mom, wire it. Guests are laughing. Help." A guest's murmur in Nicole's audio clip. "This is a disaster. Poor planning." The downpour intensified, sheets of water blurring the yard, as if nature itself amplified the reckoning. But then my phone rang again, Jennifer's name flashing, her voice on the edge when it went to voicemail mid-ring. That mid-ring plea hung in the air as I let it roll to voicemail once more. The sound swallowed by a sudden pounding on the door, insistent and heavy amid the downpour. Rain dripped from the eaves in steady rivulets, pooling on the porch steps. I approached slowly, peering through the peephole. Jennifer and Michael, disheveled in casual clothes under hastily thrown coats, hair plastered wet, faces pale and drawn. I opened the door a crack, the cool mist spraying in. "What are you doing here?" Jennifer pushed forward, water dripping from her sleeves onto the entry rug, forming a small puddle like an unwelcome intrusion. "Mom, let us in. The wedding's ruined, vendors left, guests scattered in the rain. It's a joke now." Michael huddled behind her, his expression defeated, tuxedo jacket peeking absurdly from under his coat. "Dorothy, please wire the money. We can salvage something." I stepped aside reluctantly, closing the door against the wind. They stood dripping in the hallway, the familiar scent of my home clashing with their desperation. Salvage. After banning me, demanding I pay like a silent partner. Jennifer ran a hand through her soaked hair, voice breaking. "It was a mistake. Michael's idea, the image, you know. But now everything's collapsed. Help us, Mom. For old times." I crossed my arms, steady despite the emotional pull. A flashback hit during the pause. Jennifer as a teen after Robert's funeral, accusing me of weakness while I buried my grief in work. It fueled me. Old times. Like when you blamed me for Daddy's death, ignored me unless you needed cash. Michael interjected, his tone wavering for once, vulnerability cracking through. We didn't mean. It's the stress. The honeymoon's booked. Deposits lost. Think of us. Think of you. I echoed, calm but pointed. Would you value me without my wallet? Answer that. Jennifer hesitated, eyes darting. Of course your family, but success means standards. Please, just transfer it. The admission, standards over bonds, hung heavy, exposing the shallowness. No, Jennifer. This is the consequence. Greed has a price. She begged then, voice rising. You're destroying us. Guests whispered. Vendors mocked. Fix it for your daughter. Michael clutched her arm, whispering urgently. But I shook my head. Go learn from this. As I moved to open the door, Jennifer's final words tumbled out, raw. Wait, Mom. I regret it. All of it. The rain roared outside, and I closed the door on them, their footsteps retreating into the storm, resolve lingering like the echo of her regret. That echo faded into silence as I turned away, sinking into the armchair by the window, rain streaking the glass in fading patterns. Their car lights pierced the dusk before vanishing, leaving the house wrapped in a comforting hush. The next few days blurred into reflection, fielding calls from curious neighbors, sorting through the emotional debris, even burning the original bill in the fireplace one quiet evening, its ashes a symbolic release. By week's end, Nicole texted confirmation. Full collapse. Estate refunded partial, but their reps tanked. Buzz got me new clients, thanks to the fallout. I called her, the line crackling warmly. Dorothy, you did it. Photos show the empty tents, guests bailing. Jennifer's circles whispering arrogance bit her. I leaned back, glancing at an open photo album on the table, faded images of happier times stirring but not overwhelming. Appreciate your help. Feels freeing. She laughed lightly. Anytime. Heard from her. Not since. But maybe she'll learn. We chatted about old times, the conversation turning to future plans, perhaps a trip for me, unburdened. Later, an unexpected outreach. Mr. Patterson emailed, inspired by the rumors. Dorothy, your stand reminded me to value real ties. Coffee soon. It warmed me, alliances blooming from the chaos. I muttered to myself over a solitary toast with coffee. To dignity reclaimed. The home felt fuller, not with things, but with self-worth. Jennifer's lesson might sting, but growth often did. Hints of her regret suggested seeds planted. As the rain finally cleared, I stepped outside into the crisp air, sunlight breaking through clouds, a new path unfolding before me. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.